feel now, you can see it now, go my way. You can feel now, you can see it now, go my way. 이제 다시 이곳에서 새로운 희망으로 내 지위를 적시리. Bring you back, bring me back. In my hand 갇혀왔던 그 진실은 어둠 속에 깨어나고 있어. Oh, now. Yeah, this is my world now.
The Metastasis. Ever since the appearance of Apostle Sirocco in the Scream Cavern incident, Leon Heinrich III, Emperor of the Delos Empire, desired its power. Unlike teleportation magic, the Metastasis can cause great imbalance and disturbances to its surroundings, warping and twisting various organisms to mutate and turn any living beings into violent monstrosities. The Delos Empire is a nation of might and ambition. Its influence stretches all across Arad. It is a nation built on top of mountains of corpses as Leon Heinrich III willingly sacrificed and caused bloodshed in the pursuit of power. He saw potential in the Metastasis and ordered experiments to be conducted. The experiments, as one could guess, was one of the most cruel and inhumane. Its scientists gathered its soldiers and many orphan children and exposed them to the unstable energy source. Many did not survive, but few children, mostly girls, did. One of their arm had mutated into a demonic arm that housed vast amounts of metastasis energy within, and they were to become the Empire's super soldiers. The children that fully awakened their demon arm would be kept for further experimentation. Those that failed were tortured until they did, or else disposed of. The constant stress of the nightmare's torture had turned the girls' hairs snow white. Some went numb, some defiant, and some spent their days in fear. One day, an order was given to dispose of the failures. Imperial Knight Captain Crowell, the Empire's greatest swordsman, took the girls far away to a remote forest. A lone girl among them accepted her death, but Crowell freed their shackles and deeply apologized for what he and the Empire had done to them. And so the girls scattered all throughout Arad to live their lives and find their own paths. Years later, a girl, now a woman, has returned. With her blade pointed at the Empire, she vowed revenge as she would raise the rotten kingdom with her own two hands.
썩어빠진 이 제국을 내 손으로 다시 일으키겠어.
The blade dance was a sword art created by the Delos Empire, a type of quick draw technique to suppress their foes as quickly as possible. Due to this, common swordsmen were forbidden to study it, and were deemed heretical and were only taught by a few handfuls of royal family clans. It wasn't until swordmasters appeared and began to apply the blade dance as a base for more deadly sword techniques. Some fused their swords with metastasis energy from their demon arm and imbued them with magic. Others transformed their swords to display even more destructive techniques. The Empire witnessing this was at a crossroads. Should they accept his deadly sword techniques, or forbid it? Should they accept, it would further expand the Empire, but it would be used against them in the end. And so, the Empire decreed that the blade dance were only meant for the Empire, and those outside of it will be considered treason and therefore be executed. One day, a poem began to surface all across the Empire. The sun rises, the blazing red sun, burning forever as if it will consume everything. The crops no longer grow in the scorching lands, and dried up rivers and lakes are showing its ground, and only the eyes of the people moisten in tears under the searing light of the sun. Before long, the sun will even dry those tears. Brothers, does thy blood still run through thy veins? Only the wrath of the blood may put this burning sun to rest. This wrath will regurgitate my blood and your blood, and cause the sun to descend forever. The Emperor declared these poems as blasphemous and were being spread by a group known as the Noblesse. These swordmasters had become a symbol of justice by the weak and the helpless, who combines the sword techniques of the Empire with magic to lay waste to those wicked. Violent, cruel, and sadistic. Demon Slayer makes a pact with a powerful demon known as Dymas to wield a serpent sword Venom, and Calcus, which forms the blade's edge. One must have a strong mind to bend 3 demons to her will, or otherwise her body and mind will be taken over by them. Dymas, in his origins, was a very powerful swordsman in Pandemonium, but it wasn't until Cautious the Conqueror came at him with blades drawn to kill. With one clash, Dymas knew he would breathe his last, and his techniques now complete. Demon Slayer is a class that best represents the word dominance, a sadistic queen that makes both her Majins and enemies grovel and beg under her heels. In her prison of blades, you will forever submit. Who dares speak of strength? Even the most trained warrior may be killed by a needle of a woman, and mountains may fall with a cry of a child. That is the way of the world. Who dare speak of weakness? A needle of a woman can kill even the most trained warrior, and cry of a child can make mountains fall. That is the providence of the world. There was no place to call home for the girls that ran away from the Empire and their cruel experiments. Many lost their lives either by the hands of their pursuers, or they just couldn't suppress the metastasis energy. The world was cold and unforgiving. They had to learn how to fight and survive in a world that wouldn't accept them. With innate talent and perseverance, these girls were able to completely suppress the metastasis energy. And through countless battles, they were able to master their swordplay into a style of their own. These wanderers were soon called Vagabond. Just like her brother subclass, the Blade Master, it is said they too focus solely on their art. Many see her elegant techniques as a spectacle by the citizens of Arad. Using both her strengths and weaknesses, she will show everyone the path she walks. To talk of the Dark Templars, we need to talk about Usir, the god of death. The belief had been stretched back as long one could imagine. The famous Hammer King Broden was a devout follower of Usir, and its influence spread far and wide. However, his servant, Belili Grant, betrayed him, and he had deemed the god heresy and rejected it. If anyone had anything related to the belief of Usir, they would be executed. Even after Belos' passing, his law would be maintained, and Usir's name was almost wiped away from history. Dark Templars are a secret order of knights who protect the name of their god. They move hidden within shadows, use the power of their god to decimate their foes, and absorb the souls of the fallen to strengthen themselves. The Knights of Usir deliver terror onto their enemies and retribution to those branded them heretics. The time has come. An angel of death now walks among them. Soon, all will know Usir, the god of death. Many lives were lost in the metastasis experiment, especially the lives of many children who were experimented on after being separated from their families. Some were eaten by beasts from Pandemonium, and some were hunted and killed by the soldiers while running away. Crowell, the Imperial Knight Captain, became absolutely disgusted by the actions of the Empire, and had begun to loathe them. He took it upon himself to take in and hid away many children as he could. Thanks to him, the children, for a moment, got to be happy. Crowell raised them as his own, and taught them everything on how to fight and survive. Once again, thanks to him, they were able to spread out, find their own path in Arad, while vowing revenge against the Empire. As the children left one by one, only one girl remained. The lone girl since the rescue has viewed Crowell as her father, and he gladly accepted her as his daughter. But the soldiers of the Empire would eventually sniff them out.
이걸 가져가거라. 못 들었느냐? 녀석들을 쫓아라!
With her father's sword firmly clutched in her arms, she ran. It wasn't until Vagabond, a disciple of Crowell, found her, and as an act of respect for his fallen master, he broke the sword in two, then telling her not to dream of revenge and let her escape. After running away for a long time, the girl collapses, and was eventually rescued by a legendary blacksmith of the Bantu tribe, Gogo Lion. Through the girl's request, the blacksmith forged two blades, a kodachi known as White Fang, and an extremely long nodachi known as Obsidian, to reach her enemy's heart. With the two blades in hand, she vowed revenge not on the Empire, but the man ruling over it. The girl and Gogo Lion go their separate ways, since what she must do is now clear. Throughout her journey, she quickly dispatches the Empire soldiers tracking her. She also comes face to face with Vagabond, who offers his life as an atonement for what he has done. The Earl, blinded by ambition, enlists the help of Judy Ringwood, the Empire's notorious jailer. The two eventually catches up with the girl, but she no longer runs and finally brings herself one step closer to her revenge.
이제 폐하의 적이다. 어서 녀석을 죽여! 빨리 움직이지 못하느냐? 죽을 뻔했잖느냐? 뭐 하는 거냐? 어서 처치해라! 쓸모없는 녀석!
After defeating one of her enemies, the girl arrives in Elvengard, the starting place of all adventurers. It is here she meets Sari Akiraman and begins a brand new journey. Behind her black spectacle are two piercing red eyes burning bright. To avenge her father thicker than blood, she will stop at nothing. Her blades, keen and focused, will reach the heart of her enemy, for she is a Spectre of vengeance.
다녀올게요, 아버지.